Up show. I appreciate you being here. Seems like it has been forever since I have actually posted a video on here. But this is the Super Bowl. This is an exciting one. I know I'm very excited. Um, but just give me 1 second, guys. I have this pulled up on my computer and I need to mute the video. So if you hear me talking in the background, that's what that was. I apologize. Anyways, yeah, back at it. Um, looking at NFL DFS, I was struggling honestly to pick a lineup for this one, and you guys might actually hate it because it it's a little interesting. At least I thought it was interesting compared to what my normal lineups would be. Um, but with that said, these defenses I think are going to be very dominant in this game. I expect actually both defenses um, to be uh, pretty good in this game, to be honest with you. I don't know how much I trust Sam Darnold. Um, I do like Jackson Smith and Jigba, so I think um, he's got a great receiver to throw to. If he can't do well, then I think there's bigger questions for Sam Darnold. But hey, they made it this far. I just kind of think it's more on Seattle's defense uh, versus Sam Darnold. But I can't say that, I guess, because Jackson Smith and Jigba has played lights out um, pretty much all year. So I don't know. It is what it is. I don't think that their offense is as good as it seems because of Jackson Smith and Jigba, I guess is what I'm saying. Well, I mean, it is because of him. Um, this isn't making any sense. But I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is a very good football player. I think Kenneth Walker is a very good football player. I just don't overall think that their offense is what got them here, but they have played pretty decent offensively. Um, let's see. I'm just gonna start going into this. I have got Jackson Smith and Jigba as my captain, um, and I think obviously you can see why he's averaging 22.8 fantasy points a game. But I hate the matchup. So the matchup, New England is 12th against the wide receiver. They're ninth in pass yards allowed per game on average. And that doesn't scream great matchup to me, but I think he's the best player in this game. And I do expect to play him. And I'm going to play him as my captain. I didn't think I'd be able to just for salary reasons. Um, but it's going to work out the way I'm doing my lineup because I really don't trust a whole lot of players in this game because of the strong defenses. So you guys can let me know in the comments what you think. I know you probably probably aren't even going to like my lineup choice. But I'm going to go with him as my captain. I'm going to go with Drake May. Uh, but again, it's not because I like the matchup. I'll just tell you right now, I really don't like any of the matchups in this game. Seattle's 10th against the quarterback, and they are 10th in pass yards allowed per game on average. Um, I think Drake May has just played outstanding football, and I know this is a little bit probably conspiracy theory-ish, but I have heard some stuff about rookie quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. They get there on the rookie contract, and then you don't see them in there anymore. But I if you're going off conspiracy theory type things, then I feel like Drake May is going to win this game, and the Patriots will win this Super Bowl. Um, if you're going off of pure talent, I think Seattle's defense would take the cake in this Super Bowl. So I don't know what you guys think. That's just kind of my opinion. But I am going to play Drake May. Um, which is kind of strange because I'm playing Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I'm not going to play Sam Darnold here. I feel like he tore it up against the Rams, but if you look at some of his previous games, he really hasn't been all that stellar all year. I mean, he's had a couple really good games, and that was pretty much it. So I don't think I want him in this spot against New England, who's seventh against the quarterback and ninth in pass yards allowed, giving up 185.2 a game. I think I'm okay fading Sam Darnold in this, and I hope that I don't regret that. But that's kind of what my strategy is going to be. And then I'm not going to lie, I really did want to play Kenneth Walker. I was looking at it. You see what he did the last 2 weeks, the last two games. And he's had 19 rush attempts, which is the most he's had since like week 4, I believe, where he also had 19. So they're using him a lot. I think they have Helani still as their secondary running back, who I believe saw 4 targets in the last game, but so did Kenneth Walker. And I just believe he could get some goal line touches and what have you. However, New England is second against the running back, and they are 6th in rush yards allowed per game. So, as much as I want to play him, and I feel like he could end up getting a lot of points, I am not going to play him. And I feel like the points he will get are probably just going to be goal line runs or receptions. Personally, that's kind of my thoughts. And then I don't necessarily think that I'm wrong to play Drake May and Jackson Smith and Jigba at the top either, because that's what the projections are showing. They are showing Jackson Smith and Jigba as the highest projected, and then Drake May is the second. But that's not why I did that. I just I call it the way I see it, So that's what I'm going with. But I am not going to play Sam Darnold in this for salary reasons, I believe. And then you want to take a look at Ramondre Stevenson, who also has been tearing it up. He had 25 attempts in week 21 against Denver. However, Denver's defense is very good and held him to 7.1 fantasy points on those 25 attempts, which is crazy to even think about. But I believe if there is a defense that is there's a few, I guess, if I'm being honest, that were as close as the Broncos. You had Houston. I think New England has a very good defense, but at least a pretty good defense. But Seattle, I know people can argue who they've played and all that nonsense, but I think Seattle has a strong defense, and I think they can hold Stevenson just like Denver did. So I am not going to play him. I have no desire to play Stephon Diggs. He had 6 targets against the Broncos and 6.7 fantasy points. And I just told you about the defensive scenario being, Seattle's probably pretty close to as strong as Denver. Someone might say stronger. They are 6th against the wide receiver, 10th in pass yards allowed per game on average. So I just have no desire for him. I do think if they're going to get air yards, I think their best bet is to go with Hunter Henry. But Hunter Henry has had some good games, and he's had some really bad games. And against Denver, he only had 3 targets. Against Houston, he had 2 targets. Against the Chargers, he did have 5, but I guess I should say Seattle's 22nd against the tight end. That is why I think he would be a good play. But I don't know that I see them using him as much as they should, because it doesn't seem like they have for a good portion of the year. So he is kind of in question for me for my lineup, and I'll kind of explain that when we get to the end here. But just kind of scrolling down, I think I like Booty just as much as I do Stephon Diggs, because he also got 6 targets last game against the Broncos. You already saw the matchup. I actually as much as I don't like the matchup here, I like Jason Myers because I think Seattle is going to have to kick field goals. I don't know how well they're going to do against the New England defense, um, even with Jackson Smith and Jigba, but uh, I think they're capable of scoring. I don't know that I see them getting to the end zone a lot. So I think um, with Jason Myers having some pretty high scoring games, like against Indianapolis when he got 24 fantasy points, that's nuts for a kicker. But he did it, and I think I am going to play him in this game, despite the bad matchup. Cooper Cup. Again, he had 6 targets against the Rams, 13.6 fantasy points. He did very well. He had 5 the week before. So I could definitely see the argument to play Cooper Cup. But I don't think I'm going to be playing him in this one. I don't think he makes enough of an impact for me to want to play him in this game. And I think I'm going to skip out on him. I thought about playing Borregales because I think New England's going to be in the same scenario where they need to kick field goals. Uh, I don't see them necessarily getting a lot of touchdowns, but I could eat my words on that because I do expect Drake May to have a pretty decent game. But I kind of expect it to be more of a game like it was against the Broncos, where he breaks off these big run plays that he has no business breaking off, but people seem to let him do it. It's like they know it's going to happen, but they can't stop it. Um, and that's a strong point for him. I think it's very early in his career. I think he's going to have a great career if he can stay healthy and they can protect him and he can break off runs like that. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to go with Borregales here. We'll say, because I should say, I suppose, that the Seahawks are 9th against the kicker. Barner, I have no desire to play AJ Barner. He's had too many good matchups where he did nothing in. They literally threw him the ball 3 times last week, or I keep saying last week, against the Rams. You guys know what I mean. New England is 19th against the tight end, so it's kind of another Hunter Henry scenario where I think if they're going to get some air yards, I think he definitely could be a weapon for them that they should utilize, or that matchup should be, but I don't think that they're going to because they haven't seemed to do that in the past. So with that said, I'm not going to play him. I am going to play the Seahawks defense. And I know that seems strange because I'm playing Drake May, and that's kind of one of the things I thought you guys might not like because it kind of goes against some of the daily fantasy football rules, if you will. It's not a rule, guys, but playing a defense that's going against the quarterback that you're playing, they don't typically advise that, I feel like. But this is a showdown game. And I have seen that work. I mean, you've seen all kinds of things work, and that's just kind of what I see that I like. I like Seattle's defense. I think they're going to get points despite the fact that Drake May is a great quarterback. I think he's still a rookie, and I think they can get some sacks, maybe even some interceptions on him. So even though I expect him to do good or decent, I think that the Seahawks will get some points, and therefore I am going to play them. I like Rashid Shaheed, but he only got 3 targets last week against the Rams. That shows me when they need to go to someone, it doesn't seem to be him. Although he did have a good week 15, it looks like, and 14. But after that, he slowed down a lot. So I don't know if someone was injured and came back. I didn't really study that far back into it this week, but that could have been the scenario. But I am not going to play him. And then the question is, because this is what it's going to come down to for me, is do I play Hunter Henry or do I play the Patriots defense? And I would love for somebody to chime into the chat here and let me know what you think, because I haven't decided yet. I don't know that I think they're going to use Hunter Henry enough for me to want to play him. I really don't. So I think the Patriots are going to be strong. I don't know how well they can handle JSN. I think they're going to be able to play him pretty well, uh, but I don't know that they're going to be able to stop him overall. So we'll see. But I think he's going to be a huge factor in this game. Hopefully, he stays healthy for the whole thing. I would love for all these players to stay healthy for the whole thing. I hate seeing players get hurt, especially in the Super Bowl. They fight so hard to get there. You want to see them do well and enjoy the game. Um, but anyways, I don't desire to play Henderson here. He's not what he was um, since Stevenson got back from injury. It seems like um, he just hasn't got as many fantasy points. He could break it off, and for his sake, I hope he does. He did good for the Buckeyes. I know that much. But I will say I am going to play Mac Hollins. And I know you guys probably hate that because you're like, well, you're not playing Stephon Diggs. You're not playing Booty. No, just here's my thinking on this. Okay. Uh, in week 15, he had 8 targets. He only caught 4 of them, but he had 8 targets. In week 16, he had 9 targets. He caught 7 of them. I'd say they rely on him quite a bit, is what it's looking like. And I think they're enjoying having him there in New England right now. But the thing is, he had an abdominal injury, and he did not play in week 17 and 18, the final 2 weeks of the season. He came back against Denver, and he only saw 2 targets and caught both of those for 7.1 fantasy points. Now, he came back from that injury. I think that could be why. Maybe they had him on a snap count or something. I really don't know. But I think my hope is they're going to target him a little more in this game. That is kind of my hope. And that's why I'm going to pick him, because I think they're going to need someone I feel like they can rely on. He's a veteran in the league, and it seems to me, based off those 2 weeks, that he's a guy I want to play here. He's cheap. He's 3,600. I'm going to pick him here real quick. If it lets me, it wasn't letting me there for a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to read this. Mac Hollins. Yeah, right. He's easy pickings, my dude. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll find out. But I like the targets he was getting in week 17 and 18. I'm sorry, not 17 and 18. That's when he was out. But 15 and 16. You got to admit, they were targeting him quite a bit. I'm not like a Mac Hollins fan. I'm really not. In fact, I really actually disliked him when he was playing for the Bills, right? It was the Bills he was playing. Yeah, I'm not a Mac Hollins fan by any stretch. But he's cheap. He's 3,600, and I think for that price range, I think the targets you're going to get from him, hopefully, could pay off in the end. So let me take a look at what I have, just so I can take a look. I actually did not use all of the salary when I was making my lineup, which is normally I try to use all of it, or at least close to it. But if you don't need to, you don't need to. And I don't know that I need to in this one. So there are players that I am going to wish that I could play if I had the salary. But really, as I told you before, this comes down to now for me, salary-wise, do I play Hunter Henry, who only averages 10.1 fantasy points a game, or do I play the Patriots defense? They average 8.8. So, what do you guys think? Anyone out there care to chime in and tell me, do you think the Patriots will get more fantasy points, their defense, than Hunter Henry this week. Like I said, I think Hunter Henry would be a wise decision for New England to throw to and throw to him a lot in this game. I just don't know that I believe that they will. And I am pretty tempted to play him, and for the sake of the video, I will just play Hunter Henry here. And then that will give us a complete lineup. But again, that's giving me the Seahawks defense playing against Drake May. I know people aren't probably going to like that. But that has Jackson Smith and Jigba on top as my captain. And I do like that because I expect him to get quite a bit of points. Hopefully that won't backfire and New England just shuts them down the whole game. But I don't think that's going to happen. We will see. But let's take a look real quick at the players that I also liked that I'm not going to be able to play, and that would be Kenneth Walker. And that actually might be it in this game. I was not a fan of these matchups at all in this game. So, yeah, Kenneth Walker and possibly Sam Darnold. Do anyone out there watching? I've only got one comment on here so far, but does anyone think Sam Darnold is going to play better than Drake May? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that do. I kind of don't in this game. It doesn't seem right because I expect Jackson Smith and Jigba to be the highest scoring possibly player on the slate, and he's got someone he's gonna need someone to throw to him. And I don't expect the receivers to do as well for Seattle. So I guess that would come down to Drake May getting rush yards in this game. I just see him getting more than Sam Darnold, but that could come back to bite me in the rear end. I don't know. We'll see. But this is what I like. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. I apologize. It was rough, especially to start off. Doing these live videos is not always easy for me because I'm still getting used to them. And I'm actually, like I've told you before, I'm actually recording it on my phone, and I'm trying to watch the chat on my computer, which is ancient, really slow. And, that is what it is. I'll have to get a new computer here soon. But, hey, it has been one heck of a good season. It's been fun. I've tried to make a video for every game that I could, and or at least every slate that I felt like I needed to or that I should. I might have missed one or two here or there, but it has been fun. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do for the off season here. I may get on from time to time, do some videos. But we'll see. It might just end up coming back next season. But I may actually get on and I might do some stuff. I also do. I primarily like the football, the NFL stuff, but I also do some baseball stuff. I do MLB stuff. I also do as far as playing on Draftkings, I'll do MLB stuff and I'll do basketball, some NBA stuff. Occasionally branch out a little bit, but I thought about making some videos on those, and I might occasionally when I get on and want to show you the lineup I made for them. But I will say I have had success in baseball, for sure. And I don't know why it seems kind of easier. But there's a lot of stats and things that you can go off of in baseball. And it's fun. So I probably will do some MLB stuff on here, hopefully. But if not, and if I don't do another video after the Super Bowl, I really do appreciate you guys being a part of the channel. And I look forward to next season. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good one. As usual, I wish you the best for your lineup. I wish you the best for the Super Bowl. And if you're wanting to know who I'm rooting for, I am rooting for Seattle in this game. I hope that doesn't upset anyone, but I don't really care. I am not a Patriots fan by any stretch. I'm not a Seattle fan by any stretch either. But for some reason, I just want Seattle to win this game. So probably because the Patriots beat the Broncos in the championship. It could be kind of the championship rivalry between the Patriots and Broncos in the past. I'm just not. I never liked Tom Brady much. I'll be honest with you. Was not a fan of his. I think I like him more now that he's not in the league than when he was. It's not. I don't want to say I dislike him. I didn't like him playing much. I'll just put it that way. But anyways, that probably upset a lot of people just now. But yeah, have a good season, guys. I appreciate you again. Or a good off season.